Hey guys, this will be a very different video. I'm not even sure why I'm doing this, but I believe that it will be good to say some of these things out loud. I feel comfortable doing this because I know that the comments will be nice and supportive because we have a nice community. So yeah, I want to talk about something that I usually try to hide, which is Tourette syndrome. And I'll try to keep some of the tics in this video, but I'm not gonna explain what Tourette syndrome is, Gilles de la Tourette, because I'm kind of assuming that people know what it is by now. We've probably all seen sweet Anita being adorable.
Away and people kept.
We've all seen Ethan from H3 podcast with his weird eye tics.
Tourette syndrome. A mild case of Tourette syndrome. I don't scream obscenities.
So I think you all know what it is by now. I hope so anyway. Now, I'm not gonna talk about autism. That's a whole different story. But autism and Tourette syndrome do go hand in hand, which is the case for me. But I'm just gonna talk about like the tics and what it can cause. So I've had tics my entire life, at least as long as I can remember, and they change I would say every year or every 6 months, and there will be periods where I tic a lot less, and then there will be a period which is right now, unfortunately, I tic a lot more than usual. It sort of comes and goes, really. I currently have an eye tic where I roll my eyes upwards. This is one I've had multiple times already. I have one where I blink like 1,000,000 times in a row. I have a neck tic where I do this constantly, which is very annoying. Sometimes even like that. I also have a tic with my nose, which is a very annoying one. And there's two actually. I usually breathe out air through my nose, like that, and also like inside my nose. I'm not sure if it's even my nose, but I do this weird thing where I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's like a very weird sound, which is embarrassing for sure. Now, back in 2008, my doctor advised me and my parents to get an official diagnosis, which you can see here. Also, that's my actual name there, which you can see, Gilles de la Tourette, and this is from 2008. However, I was already getting tested for other things like anxiety and such, and I must have been 10 years old or something. But Tourette syndrome and tics disorder isn't uncommon in my family, so we just accepted it, and we were like, sure, like it's probably that, so let's focus on the actual real problem, which back then was anxiety. Not anymore. Yeah, we sort of just kind of forgot about Tourette syndrome and the tics. So as a kid, I was somewhat known for my excessive blinking and like squinting and some other tics. But it's only a mild form, so it isn't as apparent as someone like, let's say, sweet Anita, who is very vocal. For example, here's a very embarrassing picture of me while my brother and I are watching Symphony X play live in 2013. So I was like 15 or something. Now, I hate this picture, and I really don't want to share it, but it's a good example, I guess. So you can definitely see my eye roll tic in this picture. I always cut out most of my other tics, which is why this video might come as a surprise. When I first saw myself, like when I actually recorded my first channel update, I was shocked to see myself like constantly blinking, constantly doing all these motions, and yeah, that was really weird to see, and I still hate seeing it. So the editing for this video is gonna be a nightmare because I'm doing all these things with my neck and such. Maybe also the reason why I don't show my face in the covers and collaborations, because when I'm playing bass I'm also ticking. When I'm sight reading a tab, I sometimes lose track of the song due to the amount of blinking, which sucks. So you might think, why don't you tick during the live streams? And this is something Billie Eilish actually talked about, because she also has Tourette syndrome.
Some of the songs are very...
With a mouth form, you can sort of like suppress your tics. It doesn't feel good, but if you need to, you can definitely suppress it for a while. But the downside is that, for example, after a live stream, after like a 3-hour live stream of talking and suppressing tics, I usually let out the eye tic, by the way, but after suppressing for that long, I will get a lot of tics afterwards, or the following day, or something like that, or a headache. For me, it's usually a headache. But there are just a few situations where I don't really tic for some reason, and I feel like I subconsciously suppress it for some reason. And live streams is one of those situations. And playing live, like performing live, singing, you don't really have time to tic. For some reason, it just doesn't happen. So that's why, I guess, you don't always tic. In a conversation, it becomes a lot worse. It doesn't matter if I'm anxious or nervous or whatever, I will just tic. And I will just do the eye blinking and the eye roll and the neck thing, and it just happens. I tic a lot on my own when I'm just editing or playing some games. I will tic a lot. In this video I'm trying not to tic, but I think I already did it a couple of times. So why is this a problem if it's only a mild form? The problem is that it can essentially crush your confidence within 2 seconds. For example, in the sushi restaurant where I used to work, I was known for my blinking, and then people would bring it up, which I don't mind, but I feel like a lot of people will get this who also have this. If somebody brings up tics or Tourette syndrome, or why are you blinking, why are you doing this, I will do it more. When I worked in a supermarket for a year, I wasn't known for my tics. I was probably known for being tired all the time, or just for my music. But I found that actually, I later on realized that whenever I would walk up to a customer, like if they would say like, could you help me with something, or like, excuse me, blah blah blah, I would be like, sure, and then I would walk up to the customer. Then I would pre-tic, like get all my tics out of the way, and then I would talk to the customer, hoping that the tics would not interfere with like the conversation. They often would, but this pre-tic sort of became like a ritual. The same thing happens when I order something online, for example like a pizza, let's say. I will hear the doorbell and I will go downstairs, and then right before opening the door I will actually stand there just doing the tics and with my eyes. Then I would open the door. This became a ritual right away, and I don't know, well, I do know why, but it is very annoying for sure, because it can take like 2 seconds, it can take 5 seconds, and that sucks. These situations are not so nice because you know that most people will have no problem with these simple encounters. Another issue is that some of the tics can give me headaches. The eye roll, for example, and the blinking are very draining for your eyes, and so a normal workday can be twice as draining for me as it can be for you. Not saying that you cannot have your own problems, but just the whole blinking and headaches and feeling tired from ticking makes it a lot worse, I think. On top of all of this, sleeping with tics is a real nightmare. You might think that the tics will just fade away once you go to bed or when you're tired, but this is not the case, and I'd say that the real fun really starts when you're trying to sleep. My tics often prevent me from falling asleep for at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours, could be longer, could be less. Now this is fine when you're unemployed like me, it's no big deal. But when I had to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning for work, I got a lot less sleep, and so I was sleep deprived all the time. And then you start to underperform, and you're tired the whole day. And so you get fired. So now you know, I guess. I'm currently in a massive queue to get tested for Tourette syndrome, to finally get an official diagnosis. Something we should have done in 2008, but I don't think that it is like a case of self-diagnosis. I mean, it is, but on the other hand, if you look at the doctor's note from 2008, well, you cannot read it, but because I blurred some stuff out, but it's clear that he wanted me to get checked for this. And there's so much proof as well, like just from the age of, I don't know, 6 or whatever, I started with the tics, maybe younger, until right now. So there's a lot of proof, and maybe with that, along with the autism, I could get some sort of assistance finding a job that doesn't drain me completely. Because this used to be the problem where I'd be so tired all the time. And when you're tired all the time, you're not that happy. So I hope something like that could happen. It just makes you feel a little bit weird, because on one hand, you are Leo base covers and just Leo and all the other things, where you are teaching people like all these difficult Haken songs and Tool and, you know, stuff like that. And on the other hand, you struggle with some of the easiest things in life, like having a normal conversation. And that's a bit hard, really. Especially when people don't really notice this stuff. That's difficult for sure. Anyway, that's it, I think. If you're interested in hearing about the whole autism side to this, I'd be happy to make another serious video like this one. The main goal is to raise awareness, I think. So thanks for watching, if you're still watching, and more covers soon, I guess.